Hyundai and Kia have had a wild ride in the automotive industry, haven't they? These brands were once the underdogs, the ones people joked about, but now they're giving even the giants like Tesla a run for their money. You know, Hyundai and Kia weren't always seen as top tier. They were the budget choices, the if you're broke, buy this kind of cars. The Hyundai Elantra, for instance, starts at just $21,725. It's cheaper than the Toyota Camry. But the real problem was, people bought these cars because they were cheap, not because they were good. They were known to be money pits in the long run due to poor reliability and longevity. People preferred Japanese cars that were both economical and reliable. Hyundai and Kia were basically the get-it-if-you-can't-afford anything better option. Kia even went bankrupt in the late 90s and had to be bailed out by Hyundai. Talk about a rocky history. Fast forward a few years, and now, Hyundai and Kia are setting records in EV sales with their Ioniq and EV series. These cars aren't even that cheap anymore. The Ioniq 6 starts at $37,500, and the EV6 starts at $42,600. It's like people have finally started to see the value in these cars beyond just the price tag. It's a big deal, especially when you look at the EV market right now. Legacy automakers are pulling back. Mercedes-Benz is ditching the EQ lineup. Ford is slowing down EV production, and GM is going back to hybrids. Even Tesla is struggling to show year-over-year growth, and startups like Rivian and Lucid are just trying to stay afloat. So how did Hyundai and Kia manage to turn things around? First, let's talk about why people hated these cars in the first place. Three main issues plagued them: price, branding, and quality. Price might seem like a no-brainer, but people are suspicious of cheap products. They wonder why a brand is so much cheaper. Is it less reliable? Is everyone else overcharging? This suspicion was a huge barrier. Then there's branding. Even if you make good cars, if your brand is seen as cheap, people won't want it. Payless Shoe Source faced a similar issue. They offered good quality shoes at low prices, but people didn't want them because they didn't want to look cheap. Payless even ran an experiment where they rebranded a store, made it look sleek, and marked up their shoes. Suddenly, everyone wanted them. This shows how tough it is for cheap brands to break through. But the biggest issue was quality. Hyundai cars were just not good. The number one complaint was unreliable engines. Hyundai faced mass recalls and class action lawsuits because of their engines. Transmission issues were also common, along with problems in the electrical system, steering system, and fueling systems. Sometimes the brakes would catch fire and door handles would fall off. It was a mess. So Hyundai had a lot of work to do. They started with branding. In 2015, they spun off their higher-end lineup into a luxury brand called Genesis. They took inspiration from Aston Martin and ditched the Hyundai branding for these cars. This made a big difference. People could justify buying a $59,000 Genesis GV80 over a $100,000 luxury SUV. The new branding gave Genesis a better shot at success, similar to what Toyota did with Lexus. Now Genesis is seen as a luxury brand, not just a high-end Hyundai. The real game changer, though, was EVs. EVs made reliability much easier because they have fewer moving parts. This was a huge plus for Hyundai, which struggled with reliable engines and transmissions. EVs have simpler transmissions, so there's less to go wrong. More importantly, Hyundai and Kia became the budget EV options. Most other automakers are focusing on luxury EVs, like the F-150 Lightning, Hummer EV, Rivian, and Lucid, which are all expensive. But Hyundai and Kia are offering regular-looking cars that just happen to be hybrid or electric. This was a smart move. There aren't many budget EV options out there. The Tesla Model 3 and Volkswagen ID.4 are some of the few, but Tesla is still seen as premium, and Volkswagen's reputation took a hit with Dieselgate. So, Hyundai and Kia filled a void in the market. Another factor is the evolution of industries. The automotive industry is evolving just like the electronics and TV industries did. Initially, Western brands dominated. Then Japanese brands took over, and now Korean brands are rising. It's a natural progression. Hyundai and Kia's rise is part of this larger trend. Eventually, we might even see Chinese automakers like BYD, Xiaomi, and NIO take over. They're already doing well in their home market. But for now, Hyundai and Kia are in the spotlight. So what do you think? Which car brand do you prefer? It's amazing to see how much Hyundai and Kia have changed, isn't it?